Few horror writers have left a mark on horror movies and TV shows like H.P. Lovecraft and Stephen King. Lovecraft's cosmic terror and fascination with humanity's insignificance became genre staples, while King's emotionally grounded storytelling gave the genre the blueprint for character-driven narratives it sorely needed. However, while the stories of both have been directly adapted countless times, one of the best TV shows that echoes their work is an entirely original tale. One Prime Video thriller takes the best aspects of Lovecraftian fiction and blends it with recurring themes of Stephen King's novels to create a tale that's as chilling as it is bingeable. The series in question is The Rig, a British series set on a remote oil rig in the North Sea that becomes cut off from the mainland by a mysterious fog. Across its 2 seasons, The Rig steadily evolves from a tense survival mystery into something much stranger. Although The Rig doesn't directly adapt either writer's work, it captures the essence of what made both H.P. Lovecraft and Stephen King legends of modern fiction. The result is a chilling supernatural thriller that weaponizes its lonely offshore setting and the ancient force hidden beneath the ocean floor, creating a show that feels like the perfect meeting point between the two titans of horror. The Rig is the perfect modern Lovecraftian TV show. The Prime Video series understands cosmic horror better than its competitors. Image via Prime Video. Many horror TV shows describe themselves as Lovecraftian, but few truly understand what makes Lovecraft's stories so unsettling. Too often, the label is reduced to tentacles and vague references to cosmic entities. The terror in The Rig, however, doesn't simply come from monsters. It comes from the realization that humanity is insignificant in a universe ruled by forces far older and more powerful than us. The ancient entity connected to the strange fog surrounding The Rig, much like Lovecraft's Cthulhu, is less a conventional villain and more an incomprehensible force of nature. What's more, like many of Lovecraft's best stories, the sea itself is a source of terror in The Rig. The North Sea setting creates an overwhelming sense of vulnerability, with The Rig isolated from civilization and surrounded by endless dark water. Lovecraft often used oceans as gateways to ancient horrors beyond human comprehension, and The Rig modernizes that concept perfectly by tying the terror to deep-sea drilling and environmental exploitation. The series also captures Lovecraft's obsession with humanity's dangerous ambition. The crew of The Rig slowly realize they may have awakened something catastrophic by drilling too deeply. Humanity's desire to dominate nature becomes its downfall, which is central to many iconic Lovecraft stories like At the Mountains of Madness. The Rig's core is a truly nihilistic outlook that comes from learning humanity is not in control and never truly was, making it one of the most authentic Lovecraftian TV shows in years. Lovecraft isn't the only horror legend. The Rig's story echoes. The Rig blends Lovecraftian terror with Stephen King's most recurring horror themes. Image via Prime Video. While H.P. Lovecraft's influence dominates The Rig, the underrated Prime Video thriller also weaves in a lot of themes from Stephen King's work too. The most obvious comparison is, of course, The Mist, since both stories revolve around a mysterious fog full of supernatural horrors. Nobody in either story understands what is happening, communication with the outside world collapses, and fear spreads through the group almost immediately. The sense of isolation prevalent throughout The Mist has always been one of King's defining horror tools, and The Rig uses it constantly. The crew is trapped in an unforgiving environment where escape is nearly impossible, echoing stories like Misery, Gerald's Game, and The Shining. Here, the show also shares King's penchant for making paranoia just as dangerous as any supernatural threat. As panic spreads across The Rig, the greatest danger becomes the crew themselves. Characters begin turning against one another, making increasingly desperate and deadly decisions driven by fear. Another major Stephen King-like element in The Rig is the show's environmental commentary. Much like The Stand, for example, The Rig constantly questions humanity's treatment of the natural world. The ancient force beneath the sea feels almost like nature retaliating against industrial greed and ecological destruction. That blend of social commentary and supernatural horror is something King has perfected throughout his career, and The Rig fully taps into. For fans of either author, The Rig should be considered essential viewing. It delivers Lovecraftian cosmic horror while simultaneously embracing the emotional isolation, paranoia, and social tension that define Stephen King's best work. The Prime Video show homages both horror legends without ever becoming derivative, which is exactly why it stands out.